Ya labo? Oh, labo ay sa laje. Abon wara non photo wala hara photo no tawa.
These are the home movies of Boubacar Ba, taken in the spring of 2006. He visited the family he supported in Africa by working in the United States. Ba was returning to his native Guinea for the first time in almost a decade. A year later, he would be dead, in the custody of U.S. immigration authorities.
What happened to him? Until now, we don't know what happened.
Ba's family in the United States has been left in the dark about his death by an immigration detention system that operates with little oversight. He is one of more than 66 people who have died while in immigration detention in the last 4 years.
We are the best friend. He is a very, very, very good person. Everybody like Boubacar.
Sadio Diallo was Boubacar Ba's roommate in this apartment in Flatbush, Brooklyn. They both regularly worked 10-hour days, 6 days a week, as tailors to earn money for their families back home.
We have problem our country, In Guinea, nothing good. That's why we come here.
Ba came to the United States in 1998 on a tourist visa, but stayed on illegally, working in New York for 8 years. He longed to be able to visit his family back in West Africa, and then be able to return legally to New York. So when he heard about a special green card program that might allow that, he applied.
And he applied for the permission. He applied, and then they sent him the answer saying that, yeah, he can go back home.
Ba received permission from immigration authorities to travel outside the United States while his case was pending. So he left for Africa, recording his trip on video.
Aci mi filme moja mi daɓane candidat. Voilà.
Tande ko aduna awina sode porta pour Afrique.
Non, no wodi fi Afrique GSM.
For the first time in many years, he saw his 2 sons, his 2 wives, and his elderly mother. He also visited the family of roommate Sadio Diallo.
10 years now, 10 years, 4 months. Since that, I don't see my family.
Diallo's 6 children are growing up without their father, who is working in New York to pay for their schooling here in Africa.
Coming back, he stayed home for like 3 months. Coming back here, he was arrested. And then they told him, your case was denied.
The private company Ba had relied on to apply for the green card program had given him bad advice. Immigration authorities arrested him at Kennedy Airport because they had rejected his green card application while he was away in Africa, revoking his permission to re-enter the U.S. He could either turn around and go back to Guinea or fight his case from the Elizabeth Detention Center in New Jersey, run by Corrections Corporation of America, a private prison company.
We put the money together, we hired a lawyer, so back and forth, I guess he was denied.
Ba languished in detention for 9 months, keeping in touch with his family and friends by phone. During that time, he could have given up and agreed to deportation, but instead, he chose to try and stay in the U.S. While incarcerated, he found out his second wife had given birth to a new baby back home.
I said, wow, congratulations. He said, you know what? I'm here in the detention center, but I did not regret why I went back home. I have a son. He was very happy and excited, about the son.
Okay.
Sadio Diallo spoke to Ba regularly, but one day he was surprised by a call from a detainee in Ba's dorm whom he had never met.
One guy up there in the detention center, he called me. He said, you know what happened in Boubacar? I said, no, what happened to him?
Ba was in the hospital with a skull fracture and multiple brain hemorrhages. He had been injured 4 days earlier, and no one from immigration had contacted Ba's lawyer, his friends, or his family.
The rest is important to call us. They never did. They never make any move. They never make any move to call us and let us know the situation.
Just how Ba was injured is still unclear, but confidential reports by detention center staff, obtained later by the New York Times, say that he fell in the bathroom of his dorm and was found unconscious. Incident reports note that when Ba came to and was brought to the medical unit, which is run by the Public Health Service, he became agitated and uncooperative, grabbing at the staff.
The subject was placed on the floor and restraints were applied with no further incident.
Ba was shackled, with the approval of the physician's assistant on call. A guard made the following report.
After scream and moan, the above-named detainee began to regurgitate on the floor in medical. P.A. Chuli was notified and came to re-evaluate the detainee.
Because he was not following orders, the detention center staff put Ba in solitary confinement, or the SHU. The staff noted regular updates on his deteriorating condition. Almost 10 hours after Ba's fall.
I attempted to wake him up to eat chow with no response.
Then 11 hours.
He began to breathe heavily and started foaming slightly at the mouth.
And 12.5 hours later.
At 20:30, the foaming seems to have stopped and his breathing is steady. He is still unresponsive. Medical has not visited the detainee since I called the first time.
Detainee unresponsive, on the floor incontinent, with foamy brown vomitus noted around the mouth.
Almost 15 hours after Ba's fall, the detention center's staff finally called an ambulance. Ba was rushed into emergency brain surgery. Hospital reports show that the outlook was so grim after the surgery that Ba was referred as a possible organ donor. Still, Ba's family was not notified.
This patient is a potential candidate for organ donation once brain death criteria is met.
On the 5th day after Ba's fall, officials finally called his family and told them he was at University Hospital in Newark.
When we were there, we were shocked because he was laying down over there, like with a surgery on his head. They talking about he got a brain damage.
Boubacar Ba was in a coma for 4 months.
They call us, they say we have to come to the hospital. And on our way over there, they call us again and say that he died.
Ba's family was promised a copy of the autopsy report, but has never seen it or any other detention center reports about the incident.
I was getting mad. I don't gonna lie to you. I was getting so mad because I hear that he fell, so we don't know what's going on. They can give us no information.
I've never seen an instance where ICE demonstrated a respect for the families of detainees, to be quite honest with you. The government is in complete control of the information.
The immigration jail says responsibility for notifying Ba's family about his injury lay with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. ICE is the government agency which runs the immigration detention system, a patchwork of county jails, privately run prisons, and federal facilities. Immigration detention is the fastest growing form of incarceration in the country, and Congress is concerned there is not enough oversight or transparency.
It is incumbent upon this Congress to ensure that ICE is properly executing its responsibility of providing safe and humane treatment of detainees in their custody.
Last fall, Congress held hearings to address healthcare issues in immigration detention facilities, including detainee death.
During the past 4 years, approximately 1 million people have passed through our custody. Unfortunately, 66 have died. We are always saddened by the death of a detainee. DRO reports...
ICE officials say it takes great care to ensure the health and safety of immigrant detainees. They say all deaths are reviewed internally, and when necessary, the agency's Inspector General investigates further. Critics say that's not enough.
80% of the detainees do not have legal counsel. As long as immigration is in complete control over the lives of these detainees, and nobody is watching what Immigration and Customs Enforcement is doing, you're not going to solve this problem.
So far, little has resulted from the congressional hearings, other than a 4-page ICE document containing incomplete and sometimes inaccurate information about the 66 detainees who have died, including Boubacar Ba. ICE officials say that a preliminary investigation found no evidence of foul play in Ba's death. 5 months ago, they said a full review was underway, but since then, repeated questions by the New York Times about Ba's case have gone unanswered. Back in Guinea, Boubacar's family struggles to make ends meet without his financial support. His teenage sons can no longer afford to go to good schools, and his second wife can barely pay for milk for Boubacar's toddler.
He just came to this country to have a better life, you understand? And he worked hard.